Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Troy Wonder, and today I'm going to be interviewing Utterly Washed for the Team Tour Season 2. How are you doing today?
You know, we're doing okay. We're hanging in there after a blowout week one. Um, my name's Pacific or Cal. You can call me either. And I'm with my co-captain, Cavern.
Hello, I'm Colin.
Cavern's pretty cool.
Uh,
I actually still
yeah,
I still question my co-captain choices. But I made that decision such a long time ago. Um, so we'll figure that one out. I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sorry we couldn't get this done sooner. It's been tough with a time zone and whatnot, but I'm glad we were able to get it done. So, I know you talked about how you chose your co-captain, but let's talk about just the team for now. What brought you into the SGBL Team Tour this season?
It's a great question. I've been playing, or I've joined SGBL probably closer to the first month it was established. Um, I've played in pretty much all the seasons. Doesn't I mean I haven't done success. I haven't done that well in all of them, but I played in the first team tour last season, and Sombra was actually my captain. I was picked like super late. Nobody knows who I am, and we'll keep it that way. But um, I had a Cavern and I have played in a couple duo leagues together. We met through ODL, and honestly, we've been pretty successful, just the two of us. So I've been able to talk with Cavern for a couple months now, and I said, fuck it, like let's co-captain for this team tour, especially because I don't think Cavern has played in SGBL yet, so this is their first league or anything you want to call it, right? So it was pretty
yeah,
exciting.
oh,
Nope,
this is the
keep
first
going.
time that I'm playing on SGBL. I was supposed to sign up for last season, but I kind of forgot, and the deadline passed by. But he got kind of angry at me because he told me to sign up, and I didn't. But well, now I'm here playing with him for the team too.
Yeah, I think I remember you joining later in the almost when like apps were closed, and you I think asked for a replacement for I think the Little Cup season, for at least I think that's what it
Yeah,
was.
and no one dropped. So well, this time I am playing the LC, but I'm playing on the team too.
Yeah, I kind of forced you into that, huh?
Well, as long as you're having fun, that's what matters here, for, in in these types of tours. Uh, so for those of the people who don't know you, I know like you said, Cavern, you're someone who's pretty new here. Mind sharing like a small little something about yourself?
Well, I don't really know what to say. I'm not acting on SGBL, but I've been acting on a lot of other servers, so most of the players, I know them from some server or another. Like I recognize all of the captains, except for Kabooks, for example. I know Pharma, I know the Alpo, I know Fishy, I know most of the players that are on the team too. So like I don't really, active here, but I know the player base.
Cavern is like I mean I could talk about Cavern.
Oh,
Cavern is
go
like
for it.
Jesus, dude. Cavern is I remember like talking or meeting Cavern or like finally getting the opportunity to talk for quite a long time with Cavern, and I remember them telling me the number of leagues they were consistently in at the same time. And like Cavern is seriously dedicated to this game. I mean, as much as, like I'm ass at this game, but I work really hard on it, but Cavern makes this shit look easy. I mean, we're not even going to get to the number of titles Cavern has won, but like, I'm hyping the shit out of Cavern. Cavern is insane. What a good player. What a good person. Um, I don't know why they accepted to be with me, but I'm assuming I'm here more for the um, maybe I'm thinking they just had me as a co-captain so I can do all the talking and all the work behind the scenes, and they can just win battles. But um, I think that also works too. But
I see. So you're the brains behind the operation. Cavern's the one who just executes whatever needs to be done to get the win.
that's what we're thinking.
And any small tidbit about yourself, Pacific? I know you talked about, you've been here for some time, and I've seen you participate in several leagues. But any fun facts about either of you for with regards to like competitive battling? I know you said that Cavern has many draft titles, but none here.
Yeah, Cavern's looking for that title here. Got to get the full sweep. What kind of fun fact did you like about me? Are we talking specifically draft? Are you talking about um, in my personal life?
It could it could be either. It could be something about related to Pokemon, or it could be something you don't mind sharing.
Okay, it's a great question. Hmm. I mean, I can get into the. Actually, I'll share this one. I think I've mentioned it before, or at least it was a part of my announcement for the Fusions League. Um, but I bowled like competitively for like 10 years of my life, and I've never shot a 300. My highest game was a 299. I missed it by a single pin, and it's funny that I bring that up because we had an opponent yesterday, Cameron and I, for a duo league where the opponent didn't show up because they were bowling, and I kept telling them that if you're gonna not show up, you might as well tell me what they're shooting in bowling, and they wouldn't do it. So, um, but no, that's probably the best fun fact about me.
Well, I hope you can one day get that 300 if you still wish to pursue that goal. That's obviously something that very few people can do it, but if you're that close, I still believe you can do it.
We hope. We can only hope.
All right, so now we've heard a little bit about you. Let's talk about utterly washed. So why utterly washed?
Honestly, Cavern told me that at the end of the day, it was my decision for the team name, and that they were just going to participate regardless. Um, and I wanted some play on the overused term of washed. I see it all out in draft. People say that they're washed, and um, we brainstormed for a pretty long time to try to figure out like kind of what to put in front of washed because I obviously like word and wash was perfect for it, um, but ODL. Some people in here might know ODL. It's a smaller server. Um, Last season, or season 4 that I participated in, that Cavern was also in the same division as me. Um, in week 7, I was like 0-7, like minus 30 diff. It was the greatest season I've ever had, and we joked all the time about how washed I was as a player, and it was kind of funny that like the both of us would just kind of have this name utterly washed. I know like a lot of all the team names are pretty unique. Some of them from last season, and I know it kind of stuck. We kind of joked about it, and then it just kind of didn't go anywhere else. So
Well, definitely, it's a very fitting mascot, and I think it's uh, a, very much a team that like fits into the whole draft league. Washed as a term, like you said. Um, yeah. So now that I've talked about your team and the mascot, let's talk about draft. Like as far as like the people that you picked for the auction, I should say. Actually, I think someone from your team just decided to join right now. So, uh, who was the one that was making the bids for the team that day?
we were in a call together, and again, Cameron was just like, "You can kind of do whatever you want." Um, but we had a pretty strong plan going into who we kind of wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few of them were either people that like I've consistently played in leagues with, that I knew would be um kind of that would work well with both Cameron and I because we know him very well.
Yeah.
Um, but we were honestly pretty shocked at, especially like there were a lot of people that went very early, very expensive, and Cameron kept telling me like just not, we don't, it's not worth it. And I agree that any player can beat any player. So regardless of who we end up drafting, we kind of focused a lot on personality, more so that we assumed that we could get along with them, or that like everyone in our team knows somebody, either on the team or knows
Mm-hmm.
one of us. So that kind of made it a lot easier. Um, but no, we were pretty happy with it. I mean, our highest bid player was unknown for 19,000, which at the end of the day, like I bid 10,000 and we didn't have, I mean, we used all of our money for him at the end. So, and honestly, I was telling Cavern, it felt kind of too easy. getting the people that we were kind of bidding on. And we joked that maybe that's the problem, and maybe that's why we're going to go like 0-7. Like it was too easy for us. People made it too easy. So no, we're pretty happy with it. Not a single complaint across the board. So yeah, we're pretty happy.
And I think that's a good thing that they're people that you like or know each other. So it's very different than having to deal with people that you might not get along with or butt heads with, and it comes down to like certain decisions, especially. One of the things, like going back to what you said, is that you spent little money, relatively speaking, as far as like as far as like max bid compared to anyone else. Is there a reason why you used your so much more on your last pick versus your first pick?
That was the single greatest moment of that draft, where it was we had all this money saved up. We both kept joking that we were going to spend like all of our budget on labs if push came to shove. But we kept just getting the people that we wanted for nothing. And that kind of it tends to happen a lot in something like this because people know each other, and like I don't know everyone in here. Nobody probably knows much about Cavern or I. They probably know a lot more about Cavern. So it's pretty easy to pick up your friends that aren't well known. But I mean, we had 19,000 when Unknown came around, and we knew that we wanted them. So it kind of got to a point where I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to drop my whole budget on them. Screw mids. Like, we're rocking this team throughout the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, it was funny at the time, and I don't regret it a single bit. So
If you're happy with the team, that's all that matters. It was just something that like caught my eye when comparing your team and like some of the other teams. Some people like blew like 25K on a single pick,
yeah,
30K, and or 30. Even the highest was 38K on DJS.
yeah. Like we were looking at I mean, we could have gotten Unknown probably for 10K, and our highest bid player would have been 13, which why I was going back to like it felt so easy to get everyone we were bidding on. It was kind of like, well, shit. Like, are we getting gypped here? But no, I did want to reiterate though, like how we did have a previous like idea of who we wanted. And like it does tend to, like I said, people kind of pick who they know or that they know is, either highly successful or they're friends with them. Which is why like we had a I think every team had a little prep server where people were able to join and kind of talk to the captains. And I think we got a couple people from our prep server that I have never met before. So it was nice to kind of show that is a possibility for newer players, especially that it is important to kind of get to know the other captains if you really want a chance, if you are new to the SGBL scene, especially for next season.
Yeah, it's definitely an ever-growing community, and I can only imagine what it's gonna be like as future tours happen. So I have to ask because, like you said, you spent all of your money. Was there any desire to like save your money, similar to how the fish farm saved all of their money for Vegas?
We thought about it. It was we were getting pretty close to the end. Our original plan was to not go the max number of players. We were gonna spend what we needed for labs and then just sit and not spend any of our money. But I talked with Cavern after we got Tachi, our seventh player, and I kind of said I'd like to get 2 more people an opportunity to participate in the team tour. And there were still like Hero and Unknown, 2 people that I did know that I wanted to, so it kind of worked out that way. That like our game plan was just 9 people, but I think it's a lot better to give people opportunities as well, especially since I think they're still going to be competitive. So.
And then Cavern, did you have anything that you wanted to say on any of the people for the team?
Well, just like Pacific said, that we knew most of them. We know how they play. We've talked to them before. We've seen replays. We've seen them in other leagues, and we kind of knew what we were going for. I like so far the week one has not been like amazing, but I like the players that we got, and I think we got a really good chance of making playoffs and hopefully winning the Team Tour Season 2.
Okay. And so now that talked about your team. One of the things about Team Tour is that there's like there's all the formats, and then so which formats does your team feel like most comfortable with?
Our team, um, as a whole, I've seen a couple of the other interviews, and I've seen people have talked about either their teams being pretty flexible or they kind of got a couple people that are really strong in some formats. Um, Honestly, our team is pretty heavy into like Nat decks and then Pal decks. We have a couple people in the niche formats, but I can play any format except for Insurgents. And I knew going in that Cavern can play pretty much any of the non niche formats, but Little Cup is one of Cavern's stronger suits. So and I'm more of a Radical Red player anyways. So it's we kind of had the two of the three niche formats out of the way just in our captain. So we kind of tried to focus on people that could help prep the just the original formats.
Okay, that's fair. Um, and then are there any formats that you're most excited to try for? I know, like, you can flex and change things around, but you said Caverns uh been a person who does like to do any format with the exception of niches, but is there anything that you're looking forward to trying?
Personally, I am not interested in touching anything but Radical Red, especially with like I know putting me in any of those other formats is almost it wouldn't be a hindrance to our team, but um, it's not. I played fusions. The only thing I haven't ever touched before was Insurgents, and I have no desire to even begin. Um, but Cameron, do you have formats that you would like to try?
Not really, honestly. Like the fan-made formats, I'm not really a fan of them. I think they're fun, but it has a lot of meta game that I don't know about, and I already 1,000 Pokemon to know for Generation 9. I feel like
Yeah.
it's overkill to go for more. So I prefer leaving that to people that actually like it and stick to the format that I do know about.
Yeah, I've already gone to school. I don't need to. Kind of sick and tired of learning, so I'll just stick to what I know.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's why other people are sometimes taken. And then, are there any people that you specifically drafted for like these niche formats?
Oh, 100%. I going in the only person that like Sombra, I knew I was getting Sombra from like that was the one player that regardless of whatever, especially since they took me last season as a player to let me have the even opportunity to play. Um I knew we needed somebody for Insurgents, especially because between Cavern and I, we have zero. Like I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Um, and I mean, I love Sombra as a player, love Sombra as a person. I've talked to them quite extensively, so Sombra was immediately our pick for Insurgents, regardless of if there's any player that is record wise better. If anyone knows anything, but like subjectively, I wanted Sombra regardless of anything else. So.
Well, that's good that you were able to secure Sombra in a third round. And I didn't get to really ask this, but were there any players that you missed out on? Like, I know you said that you got to pretty much pick most people that you wanted, but was there anyone that you wanted to add to your team but you couldn't?
That's a good question. I don't know if there was anyone that I know of pretty well that I would have liked to get at any point. Um, we bid on a couple people, um, but honestly, across the board from our team, I don't think there's a single person that I am almost like disappointed in not getting. I was pretty happy with our team when we had all nine of them. I again, like I didn't have a single complaint. We kind of knew who we were going to go for. Like Max, Meadow, and Labs, I've known them for years now, and it's just kind of it was pretty easy for me to snag them up. And I've seen the rest of the people at some point in leagues that I played in. I haven't played in too many leagues, but you know, seeing people that I've either talked to or played against was pretty easy to pick up on them. So
Okay. Then now I'm going to ask about like the teams themselves that you got to put together for the different formats. And I know you said a lot of people prefer like the Nat decks. What team do you like the most out of your your Natex 1, your Natex 2, or
Ooh, damn, that's put me on the spot.
yeah?
Um, Honestly, I'm a huge fan of. I'm pretty sure it's our mid tier team too. I haven't touched mid tier at all, but
Hmm.
um, I was actually pretty happy with that team. I didn't participate in the drafting whatsoever, but I was pretty happy with that team. And I was also pretty happy with our our Radical Red team one as well. I think both of those were my personal favorites of the teams. But Cameron, were there any teams that you saw during drafting or that are finished that you were pretty happy with?
I think I like most of them. Some were stronger than others. Like for example, on Paldex, I like more the Transniso than I do like the Teroshifu Rapid Strike. But overall, I think like they complement each other really well. There's not really like strong flaws that any of the team have, so I don't have a big preference. I want to see them both on each format do well.
Okay. So, as you said before, we've gotten to finish week one, unlike the team that I interviewed last time. What were your thoughts on your like week one as a whole? I know we don't have to talk about like just Cavern's game, but we could talk about like the whole week.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, we got our ass kicked. I think we lost 2-5. Um, it was a pretty tough week. I think we had throughout the week. I was pretty busy, so I was pretty much mobile only, which is why I wasn't able to battle. But we had a couple closer games. I don't think that there was any issues that we had. Like we had one replacement during the week that like Metal replaced Doge for one of them. I think Doge fell asleep, so we had Metal hop on. Metal played from like a taxi on his phone, didn't know the team prep at all, and just got in there and honestly kicked some ass. But ended up losing the end game. But
Oh,
respect the hell out of that. Yeah,
the 1-0. Wow, that's amazing. I
like
didn't know the whole story behind that, but that just adds a little bit more to flavor to that whole thing. Playing in a taxi and nearly winning.
that shit was
How
hilarious
how long
because
was that taxi ride?
I think it was long enough. I think it was we were because at the time I think we were 1-2. I think like Sombra just lost to I think there was like back-to-back flinches or something that kind of put Sombra pretty far behind in their game. So it was 1-2. Um, it was either Metal or I. I was babysitting like two children, and I was like, Metal, I can't. I mean, I'm not going to be able to battle this. So Metal hopped on, and honestly, the game was pretty close. But I mean, I'm a big believer in momentum, especially in a team turn. I think like once Metal lost and we were kind of 1-3, it was pretty difficult to kind of um, keep pushing for that week. But I don't have any big complaints about it. Obviously, like a team tour is tough, and like I said, anyone can beat anyone. It's just Pokemon at the end of the day. So um, we're not too worried about taking a big L week one.
Yeah, like you said, there's going to be more weeks to play and chances to redeem yourself. Cavern, did you have any thoughts on like your game? I got to watch part of it, uh, especially that one sleep turn. But did you have anything to share about your little cup game?
Yeah, I feel like I threw a bit, like I brought some sets to answer the fungus and then kind of ignore it. I didn't think they will stay in. I thought they will make a switch. I tried to predict too much and it didn't pay off. But at that point, the week was lost. So, like, it didn't really matter. I know that having a better differential could help, but it being week one, there's still a lot to change. For numbers, we are right now 0-1. We could end up 6-1. We could end up 5-2. Or maybe we go 0-7. Who knows? But I wasn't really worried about the game, given that it was the last one and the overall win was already decided. So it wasn't like a lot of thought given compared to what I hope to do for other weeks.
Yeah, but it didn't put you in a position where motivation wise, it's not at the peak. Like if we were sitting 3-3, it'd be a completely different game. We probably, especially since after it was 2-4. Cavern's game was the day after. So it was kind of like I wasn't around, and it was pretty much there wasn't much help for prep wise. But obviously, like the week is lost, and differential does matter. But it is quite difficult, I think, to kind of like if your team's already lost the week, it's tough. It's tough to kind of play at your best. So
Yeah, I think definitely when you're going into a match and you see that the odds are obviously against like your whole team the whole week in general, it's harder to like want to put the effort in. The one thing I could say is like looking at the standings, you're not the very last team. I won't say who is the last team in case I get grilled for it, but that just means that you're closer to the top.
yeah, that's what we're going for. 7th place. We can't. I mean, what are we gonna do? Go worse? Like if we go 8th? Oh well, I guess. I mean, we're our yeah. Hug, you better watch out. 7th and 8th are playing this week, so it's the battle of like the fucking dumpster. So
Oh, the battle of the dumpster. So, that being said, um, is there any type of comments that you or any statements that you want to issue to the your opponents this week?
wow, I love how the two of them are sitting right here. We're not losing. That's all I'm gonna say. We're not losing. They put me in. They pulled me from the bench. Metal and myself are professional bench warmers. So I'm hoping that Metal as a sub and pulling my ass off the bench. Maybe that's all we need. Maybe we'll go 6-1 with me off the bench.
Yeah, you could be the savior that very well turns the whole change of momentum. Since your opponents are in the audience, am I allowed to take any questions from them?
Oh, you can take as many as you want.
All right. Well, Seal, I guess I've never done this before, but I can't really say no, can I?
Come on in here.
Hello, hello. Yes, you can never say no to me because I could have just did this myself,
No matter what.
no matter what.
Just don't throw any chairs, okay? We have to respect, people on the stage that much at least.
We'll see. We'll see.
Did we not bring the throwing chairs? I special ordered them for this interview.
Aren't you like part owner? Where are the
Part?
chairs at?
Listen,
Oh, you're the official owner. Is this what's going on here?
yeah. Listen, there've been budget cuts recently. I just found out about. Really, just the second, so it's kind of awkward.
Who's managing your money?
He's a good guy. His name is Newspaper Edits. Let's just leave it at that.
Budget cuts. Oh my days. Okay. Well, great. That's cool.
So, my fun question for you now. I'll ask you something. What matchup are you most excited for?
That's a great question. Fantastic questions, guys. Unbiased, is being hunky, obviously. So, I don't know. Let me double check these matchups real quick. I posted them, or at least they were posted while I was working. So, let me double check these. I'm gonna have to scroll pretty far.
They are pinned, for your convenience.
Oh, that's gonna help me out so much here.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. Take your time. No pressure.
Oh, right. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for our Insurgents match.
Are you?
Sombra is hyping up their opponent pretty much, like all the time. So, I need to see Sombra kick some ass this week. That's what's important to me. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a fun matchup for sure. I think Insurgents is one I'm excited for. Fusions is one I'm gonna find very interesting, just because of something.
Yeah. That's a tough game mode. There's just so much that it is almost impossible to predict for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I broke my bank for who I got.
You gotta. Yeah, I mean, I played that last season or season 4, the fusions, and it every week just felt like, what's the most unpredictable broken set I can bring? on all 6 of my mons, and it's a fun ass format. It's pretty cool, and I hope everyone gets a chance to at least try one game of it. But it's a lot of work to prep for.
Oh no, absolutely. It's just when you combine two mons, you create this new monstrosity, and it's what's everything this thing can do now? What do I have to prepare for? It never ends.
It's impossible. Let me tell you, I'm not touching it. So never again.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't really have more questions. I kind of just want to come up here and just joke a little bit.
Oh, that's
Do you
fine.
feel? Do you like? Was it fulfilling?
Yeah,
Are
it was
you
very
satisfied?
fulfilling. Yeah, I'm glad I got to finally hear you talk your shit. Uh,
That's true.
I'm glad you did. This has motivated me to force Hunky to build better.
That's true. I've completely blundered, huh?
Hunky's in the audience right now listening.
He's training himself right now. He's in the gym,
Exactly.
listening to me talk.
He's in the gym. You're motivating him. He just put on another plate. He's ready to bench that out.
Yeah, Hunk,
Nice
you
and
need to
easy.
chill, dog. You cannot 6-0 me. Like that would be so demoralizing. We probably have to drop out. So
It's fine. He's just roasting me in the chat now for some reason. What the fuck, Hunky?
that's exactly what I need.
Oh man, my team just wants to roast me. I don't know what I did to them. I've done
Honestly,
nothing wrong.
I believe it, and I understand it too. So
Yeah, no, as a
you're
fellow
lucky I'm not
captain,
with
you
you.
get it.
Yeah,
God
it
damn
makes
it.
sense.
Well, thank you for coming to ask a questions, Phil. Hunky or Wash Shrimp Frank. Do you have any questions for your opponents without leaking information?
Or leaking,
Yeah, it's all a mind game at this point. It could be.
Yeah, you guys can share your teams too. I mean, I'm cool with that.
When are you
Yeah,
scheduled to fight? When are you scheduled to fight, Pacific?
Probably Sunday. I'm pretty packed until Saturday, and then I'm not even home Saturday, so it's probably gonna be. It might be one of our last games played, so hopefully it means something.
Ooh.
That's what we're hoping for.
All right. Hunky's actually has a question. Are hot dogs a sandwich or their own thing?
Damn it, Hunky. Um, you know, out of there's a ton of questions you could have asked me, but I'm not disappointed. I'm pretty sure I got to go with the notion that they're not a sandwich. They're not. I'm pretty sure I got to categorize them as something separate.
Now, if the bun was split, would that make it a sandwich?
Now we're talking. Yes, if the bun was split.
All right. That was my follow up question. I'm not trying to take away from Hunky's thing, but I had to ask if that changes things for you.
It does. I mean, it's a game changer here. Yeah, I mean, if you cut that bun, I'm pretty sure now it's a sandwich. But don't cut my bun.
Okay. And then before we close our interview, is there any final comments you want to say for either your server, your own personal Discord for things like that, or anything of that sort?
I don't think I have anything to advertise. But let me tell you again, I'm not losing. So that's all.
Oh, and then actually, the one last thing I didn't get to ask was, why is your team going to be the team that would win the entire team tour?
Well, honestly, it's because Cavern's our co-captain. I'd like to say it's because of me, especially since I didn't play week 1 and we lost, but because of Cavern. And honestly, secretly, and I can't admit it, so you just get to hear it because we drafted Metal. That's the only other tidbit you get. So,
All right, so we got our two players to focus on, one a captain and one player. Okay, well, there you have it, folks. Cavern, did you have anything you wanted to say before we close up?
I want to say that Pacific likes to don't play himself at all, but he's gonna be the real reason why we win. Even if he loses all his games, he's going to be the real reason why we win.
I'm the greatest cheerleader.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm such a yapper, so I'm a great cheerleader. So I don't got to win matches, but personality-wise, I'm there.
I can definitely feel that a lot of the energy comes through from you when it comes to this team. So we will see how it goes in week 2 against this Kingdom's Philology, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the team tour. But thank you for joining us, everyone, and thank you for your questions.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know this took quite a long time to get out because scheduling conflicts. So we both appreciate it very much.
Anytime.